what are the next steps for researchers, advocates, and policymakers in addressing housing insecurity and homelessness among students?
I'll zoom us back out and I'll just say we had recommendations at two levels. We had recommendations about the system and we had recommendations about the program. And so I'll highlight a couple of the program ones, and I think Rashida and Yadira have others to really focus on. One key programmatic recommendation we had was about more focused and intensive training for the folks in the case manager roles. And it was highlighted earlier, I think, in this discussion that campuses that had staff who had experience working on issues of homelessness in the community had a significant advantage in implementing this program because they understood the challenges that students experiencing homelessness face. So then we had recommendations which are at the systems level. And some of those recommendations, I think I'll let Rashida talk a bit about the funding need. And so I'll say something about the leadership that is needed to implement this program, and that there really needs to be some centralized leadership at the higher education system level to provide direction on the practices that are used, on adherence to the model, and to ensure that funding is spent well and that the program is implemented in a clear and effective way. And I think Yadira and Rashida probably have others to talk about.
Yeah, so there was, I mean, as Dr. Crutchfield and Jessica mentioned, this was a very, very in-depth evaluation, and a lot of amazing data came out of this. And so along with that comes recommendations, right, for change. And I want to speak specifically to the student experience and recommendations on how to have students access this needed service, right? And so one of our recommendations is just ensuring students who are experiencing homelessness and housing instability have easy access to College Focused Rapid Rehousing programs, and limit the barriers to participation, and just an easy entrance into the program to receive the services and the support that they need. And so this specifically and have some strategies that specifically target those that are overrepresented, right? Like Black students, first generation, or student caregivers. And so what we saw was that one clear avenue is to have close partnerships between equity-based programs and that are likely to reach these students that need these services most, right? And we've seen in other CEHE research that these equity-based programs really are a great avenue for outreach to specific students that need these services. And so tapping that partnership, creating closer relationships is really, really important to be able to have students that need these services the most, get connected.
One of the recommendations that we think are very important is thinking about, because, though our students were able to focus much more on their educational journeys and their housing was stabilized, most of these students still had to work, and they had to work a lot still to make sure that their basic needs were met. And so one of the recommendations that we offer is that on-campus employment is prioritized for students experiencing homelessness. This would ensure that students are not distanced from their educational experience while they're also trying to earn the financial wellness that they need to persevere and be retained in college. Also, I think it's important to understand, going back to Jessica's point about belonging, that we know research tells us that when students spend more time on campus, if they're working on campus as well as being educated, they're more likely to feel engaged and connected to the community on campus, and that also influences positively their outcomes in GPA, retention, and graduation. And so really this connection for students in working on campus, and then even better to attach that to what they're learning, helps them be in greater position once they graduate on multiple levels.